This is KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
And this is Saturday, August the 24th, and you have indeed entered overtime as we continue our ramp up into the mayhem of the fall sports campaign. This time next Saturday, we will have the full spectrum of autumnal athletics in play with a big dash of Saturday high school and college football on the slate to really make it feel appropriately seasonal. We will further prepare you for that fun tonight with a couple of barnstorming stops to go, but we also had two huge rope drop tournaments in Western Illinois golf this morning. To get this season uploaded, we will start you with the 50th anniversary edition of the Gary Saunders Invitational at Macomb. Illini West coming in red hot early on hole number 9 here. Birdie attempt for the outstanding freshman Bryson Grotz. Wouldn't go home for him. He had that kind of day, but his teammates picking him up in this one. Wesley Robertson, same hole. Beautiful birdie putt as he's going to drain that as part of a round of 85 today. Wesley on the day, not just for RBI anymore, good at golf as well. He finished in 18th place individually. Nick Bruns playing at number 1 for IDub today, saves par at number 9. And then you will see him here at 13, the difficult par 3. The only person I saw all morning to hit this in regulation. Beautiful approach from him. Sets up another par there today. He fired a 76, which was good for 7th place individually, 1 stroke behind his other freshman teammate, Nolan Murphy, doing the thing today with a 74 that was good for 6th place individually. Illini West finishes 2nd as a team. More on that in a second. Macomb, who hosted this today, was led by Ethan Dildine, who ended up with an 84 today, good for 15th place. Macomb finishes in 17th place, but Illini West with a 2nd place finish today behind Port Byron Riverdale today, who ended up winning by 17 strokes. Illini West, though, continues its run of good play. Everybody contributing with a 326. So the Bombers and the Chargers certainly showing out, at least in their first one. And Illini West, as I mentioned, continues to look good. Let's take you to the Quincy High Invitational. Bo Eftink and company going to work in this one. Hunter St. Clair, not a great day for his team, but man, the Blue Devil picking up strong here, sinking the putt on 12. He played the back 9 and 1 over par with a 36. Bo Eftink tried to make some things happen. He played really well on 5 here, though. Lips out for birdie, and he just couldn't seem to get a putt to go down the stretch in this one. Back to Hunter St. Clair right here, just off the green on number 16. He gets on to set up a par putt. He'd go on to 2-putt that for bogey on 16, but Hunter just kind of grinding nicely in this one. On the par 5 17th, he's going to land his shot on the green, would make par in that hole. As I told you, got himself a 75 on the day. More on that as we take you to 18 with Hunter St. Clair trying to hold up the Blue Devils, who finished 2nd to last as a team, but Hunter doing his thing today. I should also mention today, no Ty Novosel, who was too sick to play today. So 75 for Hunter St. Clair, who continues to do really good things. Story on this, though, Bo Eftink forcing a playoff with a 71 3-man playoff, and man, was Bo good on 18 here. This sets him up. Spot of bother? Not at all. Check this out. You can't do it better than this. He's going to back it all the way up, give himself a shot at birdie, and Bo Eftink is clutch. Playing with a bad wrist and everything. Got off to a late start. Didn't get to start with his teammates. But man, as he roared back in a hurry, and he would roar back with this, gonna sink that birdie putt to end up winning the 3-man playoff and taking the deal today as Quincy Notre Dame posts a 2nd place finish as a team with a 391. Good stuff behind Chatham Glenwood today, but good stuff on the golf course indeed for the Q&D boys and Bo Eftink. What a way to roar into your season with that momentum working. Speaking of momentum working on the links, the Q&D girls have also been outstanding to start this season. Now, they were playing today against some really good competition, including a Sacred Heart Griffin team that is absolutely ridiculous, as you can see by their 32-stroke win today. But Quincy Notre Dame, the girls come in 2nd place today at the Rochester Invite. Natalie Druffel leading the way in that one with an 85, but look at the balance in this one. Belle Boudreau with an 86, and Meredith Eversman coming in with an 87. She's been very good to start the season as well, so a lot of balance. You've got a freshman leading you today. All kinds of good stuff for the Q&D Lady Raiders. And while we're on the subject of outstanding girls fall sports teams, I don't know that it gets any better on the diamond than these young ladies.
We had a good year. Nobody can take that away. We did a lot of things with that group, won a lot of games, had a lot of fun. And when it comes to postseason, I mean, there's a lot of things that has to happen for it to go your way.
I think it's been very motivational for us because it gives us something to work for. You know, we want to do better as a team and just improve on the things that got us last year.
And I think knowing how close we were with the talent that we had last year, you know, we're not going to take anything for granted. We know that we're going to have to play well. We're going to have to hopefully build and peak at the right time to make a run.
As it looks to improve with a deeper postseason push, this will be a differently armed Cougar softball squad. Literally so, given the graduation of 2023 Clarence Cannon Conference Player of the Year, Emma Harshberger. That means no more co-ace status for Abby Lay. She is the clear #1 now after winning 13 games and striking out 120 batters a year ago.
Her spin on the ball, it's very, sometimes she gets us with her changeup and everything, but she has great spin. She's very good.
Pitching wise, we're kind of in that one prong attack, and we don't have the depth. Losing Emma, not being able to throw, you know, some different looks, different things like that. Abby's going to have to shoulder a lot of that, and we know she's capable of it, and she wants the ball every day, and she's a competitor.
Finding Abby Lay a suitable pitching complement is among Highland's highest priorities.
Abby, having her back, she's going to be our #1, and she's going to throw a lot of innings. Right now, we're kind of in the process of seeing who's going to fill that #2 spot, #3 spot, because we're going to need someone to step up and eat some innings. And we've got a few candidates, and that's what we're doing the work now. And early, I think we'll plug some kids in and see how they're fitting. Use some JV games to see how facing live hitters looks. But yeah, Abby's going to need some help. We definitely don't want to overload her too much and put too much on her. But she's looking great, and we're excited.
Whoever it is in the circle here for Highland benefits from the return of one of the state's splashiest and most lethal offenses. The Cougars hit a program record 42 home runs last fall, including 7 from returning All-State catcher Haley Winter. But it is Highland's mix and match weapons up top that really make it hard to send this group back out onto the field to play defense.
Back to our 1 through 5 with Kira and Addie and Abby and Haley and Bailey. Those top 5 are, I mean, they're just locked in, and they've been that way all summer. And we're excited about, again, 1 through 5. I mean, any one of them can hit the ball out of the park. There's a lot of athleticism.
We all have that good chemistry. Same grade, same everything. We've been playing softball for a long time together, so that chemistry's there, and I think we can do good things.
The graduation losses of Harshberger and Olivia Ritterbusch do leave some lineup calculus here still to be determined.
Shelby Frank, who was our DP a lot last year, she's back as a senior, hit the ball. But Catherine Darnell, we're going to expect a lot of big at-bats out of her. She's a big, strong kid. And Amanda Jennings, another junior that we're expecting to be in a lineup on a regular basis and hit the ball. Not as much power, but a lot of contact.
I think it's really hard to replace those big of shoes, but I think we have a lot of good talent coming up and a lot of kids who are able to replace that, just make us better as a team.
But on balance, the statewide bullseye that rests on these Lady Cougars' shoulders feels well justified.
I think it is because it makes us work harder. You know, we have to prove why we were #1 last year. We just got to continue to prove why we have what we have and why we're such a good team.
I'm excited for this year to come and hope good things.
And we will find out just how good Highland is right off the bat next Friday. The Lady Cougars dive into play early in the afternoon in that always interesting Troy tournament. Again, that's a really interesting softball squad with a lot of veterans, can do a lot of really neat things. I think they're going to be one of the great storylines of this fall. And we are just getting warmed up here on the big overtime show. We're going to do a little football barnstorming next, but we're going to go to the college ranks where Culver-Stockton is trying for a reversal of fortunes after a bad slip backwards last year from what had been an incredible run the last couple of years prior. So that story coming your way when overtime continues.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
I talk all the time about when kids come in, you know, and things go bad in modern day sports, it's real easy to run away. You know, it's kind of the expectation almost. And these guys have decided they were going to stick around, be great teammates.
The man has presided over some of the most successful seasons in Culver-Stockton football history. So as you might imagine, 1-10 last fall did not sit well with Tom Sally.
I mean, it was a rough year, and it was a rough year for a lot of reasons, and we all had to get better, especially the coaches and especially myself. You know, I got pretty spoiled for a long time with the group of kids that I had, and I kind of lost a little bit of the leadership role that I normally take and what actually got us to the point we were at. And so we've kind of reestablished that and then pushed pretty hard to, you know, get the foundation set again to where those guys kind of left it. And these guys have worked hard in the offseason and kind of recommitted to Culver.
And thusly, the changes in Canton have been sweeping, both from a big picture standpoint.
We had to get guys that were excited to be here, and we got a lot of young guys that are going to step in and play. And so it's only talent if you make the plays that you're supposed to. When you don't, then we're just a collection of dudes. And so we pushed really hard to get them guys to accept that responsibility and understand that sometimes our only coaching point is to be great, you know, because at the end we put you in a spot, either you catch or drop the ball. We put you in a spot, either you make or not make the tackle. We can't really overly coach that part. That's got to be something that's inside of you.
As well as structurally. There's a brand new quarterback in play here this season by way of Western Illinois University.
Drake Day will be our starting quarterback.
Western transfer?
He's a quarterback from Western Illinois, right up from up the road in Burlington, Iowa. Great kid, great young man. He's come in and earned the trust and the respect of his teammates, which is a big part of being the quarterback, you know, is them guys just believing that you're going to do your job.
Not to mention a more muted and hopefully more effective ground component.
In my past spots, you know, the running back room has always been very boisterous, excitable guys. Our running back room is they kind of just show up and do their job, you know. They show up, work hard. They hold each other accountable. They want each other to be successful, even if it means they might lose a rep or two, because they know that that's just going to make them work harder to get their reps back. And so it's a fun room to watch. You know, Demarion Cobb, who will be a senior captain of ours, is a really good player, and he's really stepped up his leadership role this offseason to take over not only the running back room, but the offense as a whole, you know, and kind of set aside some personal goals he might have for the understanding that he'd rather win games than get records.
And a return for the Wildcats to the defensive norms that turned the program around in the first place.
You make up for about 90% of your mistakes on defense by just running to the ball as hard as you can. And so getting them to do that first, and now they're getting to the point where they're starting to take the ball away, and they're okay with giving up a big play because they know as long as they make that team snap the ball again, they're going to make a play the next time. And so once you get to that point, it's pretty fun because takeaways are one of those things that are pretty contagious, you know, and once you start getting them, it just kind of continues to happen.
Which makes next Saturday's season opener with Mount Mercy feel particularly important.
Every week is super critical. Obviously, it's our first opportunity to come back and compete as the group that we are now, which is a big deal because these guys get to show what they've done. And it's exciting for me to be able to see these guys go out and compete every day. And so I know how good we're going to be, and so it'll be super exciting for them to be able to show everybody else. You know, that's what we're the most excited about.
So outside of Culver-Stockton's scrimmage tonight, which you saw some highlights from in that package against Central of Pella, Iowa, not a lot of college action today, save for some volleyball. The John Wood women off to a very good start. They played their first 4 games this weekend, 2 more today that included their first loss of the season to a really good Highland program. But the Lady Blazers bounced back and shut out Olive Harvey today to finish their weekend at 3-1. And while we're on the subject of volleyball, have a little exhibition fun from Western Hall. The Leathernecks hosting Quincy University in this one. Western took the first set. Quincy University up after this beautiful spike from Susanna Berette. 16-12 at this point in set number 2. Western trying to get back into things. They've got a weapon, and it is Elizabeth Ziegler, and she would let fly not once but twice here. These are a couple of power moves as the Leathernecks climbed to back within to 2 points at that point in this juncture. Quincy University trying to thwart things with a little side-out action, courtesy of Emma Weinbergen, who's going to get the job done here. And 25, she seems like she's been a stalwart here for years for the Lady Hawks. Again, it's Emma letting swing with some power right there. Western Illinois counters with some serving fun, though. Again, trying to keep this thing close. It's Hillary Estes with the ace. And then Grace Nichols going to rise up and get the side out for the Leathernecks at this point. Again, trying to steal the set back from the Lady Hawks in this one. Quincy University, though, not having it in this one. Susanna Berette, again, doing some nifty work coming up for the Lady Hawks with a big-time kill. And then it's Elena Kasavica. I hope we pronounced that right. She ends up with the ace service. Quincy University takes set number 2. Obviously an exhibition. We didn't get a final score on this one, but nice to see some college volleyball in action. And man, does the college slate ramp up this week as well. We'll have football next week, obviously. College soccer getting started. We had some exhibitions as well on that front earlier this week. So obviously, the overtime fun is just getting started. And speaking of the fun, we are entering week 1 of the high school football season. Up next, I am going to give you my breakdown of what I think are the top 6 games this week from what might be the best week on paper of the entire high school football season, at least in terms of strength of games. That coming up when overtime continues.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
And week 1 of the high school football season is officially here. As I was asked many times last night, yes, there will be a Duerrisms column very quickly, hopefully by Tuesday at the latest, might drop even earlier than that. I'm going to say this to you, and you folks know that I try never to lie to you. I try to give you my honest opinion. I'm in love with week number 1 of the football season. I love week number 1, period, but I really like the slate we're being offered this year. It offers some old, some new, some fun, and some diversity. And as I have them ranked, I think you have a 1A and 1B type scenario, depending upon what side of the river you live on. Quincy High, Quincy Notre Dame, always fun. 10th and Jackson, you know the deal with that one, but I would argue that Elias Hannibal is just as good. And my friends in Jefferson City tell me this iteration of the Crusaders might be the best one they've posted in years. So it is an instant rubric on the Pirates in life after Aeneas Williams. And we're going to figure out how good they are pretty quickly in this one. And the great thing is, it really doesn't hurt the Pirates if it doesn't go perfect on night number 1, because, again, Jeff Geschwinder's build is into the district when those type of games matter. But this one is going to help Hannibal long term. Obviously, Monroe City, a team that last year, we talked about them struggling. Heck, they only lost 4 games. They were still a pretty darn good football team, as young as they were. Well, man, does Monroe City get to tangle with royalty right out of the gate, taking on Valley Catholic at Langford Field. That game is sneaky fun. I'd argue Rushville Industry, which is a team I'm incredibly enamored with, and as we made the point during the Barnstorm Tour, the Rockets underclassmen didn't lose a game at the junior varsity level. So Rushville Industry has got a nice 2-year thing brewing, a chance to prove themselves right out of the gate against Stark County, who won that conference last year. I think Burlington-Fort Madison is really interesting. I'm not sure how much we know yet for sure about Derek Doherty's team, but Burlington's a good test. And that's one of those games that right out the gate, you're going to kind of know where the Hounds are at. And then I think there are about 3 other games I could have listed number 6, but I am super, super interested to see what Route Catholic is actually going to be. I think everybody who follows 1A football in Illinois knows that Calhoun is going to be one of the best teams in the state, potentially. We saw what they did in the postseason and how much trouble they gave Camp Point Central, your eventual state champion, twice last season. You know what? Route gets to test itself. Do we believe in Route Catholic? We certainly believe in their offense. You're bringing back a returning All-State honorable mention quarterback in Kellen Creviston, who threw for like 2,600 yards. Will Route play defense? That's really the question that we don't know at this point, and Calhoun's a tester. But again, you know, Brown County's got a big game to open the season. I think Illini West, which is a team that has an awful lot riding on the fact that they want to get back to 5 wins, has an awesome opener as well. So really a great first week of the season. We're going to break it all down in greater depth for you, obviously, on Duerrisms. Again, I expect that column to drop your way no later than Tuesday. We're going to work hard on it the next 2 days, try to get it your way as soon as we can, because we know all of you are excited about football season 2. And we'll have more overtime coming up straight after this.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. We build these 2 weeks into the season to get you all warmed up for the mayhem that is to come. That mayhem starts right here 1 week from tonight. Next Saturday is going to be super fun. And as much as I'm anticipating that, we got a lot of buildup into that, including the first Friday night of high school football, real high school football this week. It is a glorious week to be alive. And if you looked at the forecast, looks like Friday and Saturday are going to be marvelous. So can't beat that. All kinds of goodies building your way Monday on into the rest of the week. I can't wait. Hope you'll join us right back here next Saturday for Overtime.